is 7:45, so we will go ahead and get started. This is the December meeting of the Joining Forces for Treasure Valley Veterans. And our whole meeting today is going to be focused on Mission 43, and they are an Idaho veterans organization. They are fairly new in our state. I say new compared to some of our organizations that are 100 years old, but I refer a lot of people to the different pillars over at Mission 43, and I figured it was a good opportunity to let everybody know about what they have to offer. So we are going to start with the Mission 43 director, Brian Madden. Brian, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and then kind of give us an overview of Mission 43.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Mitzi. So my name is Brian Madden, and I am the director of Mission 43. And I grew up in a military family. My dad was active duty Army. So I moved all over, and then I went to West Point and graduated as an Army aviator. So I was a active duty aviation officer for about 8 years, and then I transitioned to the Idaho Army National Guard and flew out there for about 5 years. And then I actually recently transitioned to the Air Guard. So I'm in the Air Force now. I'm a TACP in the Air Force. So been out of the scene, just got back from deployment a couple months ago. So good to be back in the saddle here at Mission 43. But I am an employee of the Albertson Family Foundation, and Mission 43 is an initiative of the Albertson Family Foundation. So we fully run it, we fully fund it, and that's something that's really unique in the country. There is not anything else out there like that, where a single family says, hey, military families in my state are so important. We're going to fully fund and lead this initiative and make sure we're taking care of those families. So it really doesn't exist. And every day I feel extremely fortunate to be able to work for a family that cares like that. So I am also joined today by Allison Garrow, who leads our education pillar, and Micah Taylor, who's employment pillar, and then Dan Nelson is out of town. He's going through a program down in Texas right now, so he leads the engagement pillar. So I'm going to cover down for him real quick. So I got the chat up on the right here. If you guys have any questions throughout it, I'll keep an eye on that. You can speak up, throw the little hand thing up, or drop a message in the chat. I'll try to address that. And same for, if Allison and Micah, anything you have for them, just let us know and ask. So.
And just a quick reminder, if you're not one of our guest speakers, if you want to put your microphone on mute, and then that way we won't get any background noise. Thanks.
So we do have 3 focus areas, and we always use the word opportunity. We're not forcing anybody to do anything. We're looking for the people who want to take an opportunity and excel and just continue to do great things after the military. So one of the other unique things is that everything that Mission 43 does also supports the military spouse. So all the employment services, all the education services, and all of our events that we do are equally funded and there for a military spouse. So that is actually a big challenge for us. Military spouses are not used to being included in any sort of those resources. So a constant challenge for us getting that message across. But so we really work as a team. The pillars, our 3 pillars are really closely integrated. So when someone is talking to our employment team and they have an employment goal and there's a skills gap there that can be met with some of our education programs, there's an immediate connection. Within a minute, our education team is aware and starting to be able to support that person. So it's really fun to watch from the outside, seeing just how closely integrated the team works and is really taken an individual, and it's, almost individual case management across all those pillars, and they just do an incredible job working together there. So that's kind of the bigger picture on Mission 43. It's, we launched in 2016. The Albertson family, the Scott family is fully committed to this. It's not going away. We do have some big things coming up in the next few years that we're excited about. So we are going to continue to grow. So I'm going to jump into the education pillar and speak on Dan Nelson's behalf now. So I say education, I hope I said engagement pillar. So the engagement pillar, and speak on Dan's behalf. So this is really our activation, our in-person, our area where you can find purpose and just find a community in Idaho. So one of the key things that really helped us develop this was just a really simple networking happy hour, where our first one, I think we had 25 people showed up, which is perfect. And you just people start to develop relationships there. The employment team is there, the education team there. And that's really just those conversations that happen really lead to incredible opportunities. So our networking events and our in-person events like that are absolutely crucial for us. They're extremely important and are really a great way to activate everyone in the Mission 43 community. So as soon as these restrictions lift, we will be out of the gate running with our networking events, hopefully in the next few months. So we're looking forward to getting back to doing our happy hours. Another key thing we do with engagement is a quarterly speaker series, where we really find someone who has done something incredible after the military. And then we put them on stage and do a one-on-one interview with them. It's really an inspirational event to see, like, hey, that person is kind of just like me. They've worked their butts off. They've done some incredible things, and they have accomplished some really impressive things after the military. So we'll continue to kick those off, and that's more of a quarterly event. The other thing we've really gotten into is the fitness and more of the mental health type of events. So that's our hiking series, where we put out a series of hiking events, and everyone is welcome to show up to get fit and really kind of interact with the community in a healthy fitness sort of way. So we've been doing those through the lockdowns. We've been actually going virtual on those, and to our surprise, they've been hugely successful in terms of how many people just kind of need, like, hey, you're going to run 43 miles in the next 30 days, and we're going to challenge you to it. And you're going to have this community around you who is cheering you on. And just kind of, we've been a little bit shocked in how big the response, and it's kind of simple at the end of the day, but people just need that little challenge to get out and do things like that right now. So those have been successful.
And, I really enjoyed that Mission 43 miles, because you didn't have to run the miles. And then with the app that you guys had, I actually met a lot of people just on the app doing that virtually, and I really enjoyed that. That was really fun.
That's very cool. That's great feedback. So we'll see more of those. We don't want to get too watered down and doing one every single month. Kind of want to pop them up appropriately and provide something that's actually a challenge. At the end of the day, like, doing 43 miles in a month is, whether walking and running, whatever, you have to actually get out there. Just, you can't accidentally knock out 43 miles. So it's a good
challenge. It's also doable. It's a goal that's out there, but it's doable for everybody. So it's fun.
No, like you saying, that's really exciting. Like, that's exciting here. So we'll definitely keep doing those. The other thing is volunteering. It just really helps create that sense of purpose. Lately, we've been involved with the Salvation Army, or there's just a couple of smaller entities that really, they're not getting volunteers out to help with the lockdowns. And I think we have a willing audience who is like, I don't have a problem with coming out right now. I'm count me in. So we were able to help Salvation Army a couple weeks ago. This is just an example. They did not have volunteers who'd come out, and they were helping the refugee population. They were going, they basically have gift cards to go and buy clothes and just necessities at the mall. Ended up being very meaningful, because a lot of these refugees were Iraqi, they're Syrian refugees. So a lot of the population that we were intermixing with overseas were these families that were here, and like kind of like being able to help them in a different way was really cool for the people who showed up. So those have been a big and growing thing that we'll continue to do in terms of volunteering. And then finally, in all honesty, we are not very public about this, but we have a program that really is on the mental health, PTSD, TBI side, and it's called Operation Resilient Path. We're intentionally not just super public about, hey, this is a core part of Mission 43. It definitely is. But we have very specific partnerships with programs to support people in those areas. So a lot of these, I'm forgetting the right term, but a lot of the individuals who come through to the ORP program are coming through a conversation that Allison Garrow is having on the education side, and just kind of picking up on some cues that, hey, I think there's some other things we could help out with. And same, Micah's team will give us some, connect us with individuals who could potentially benefit from that. So we have a partnership with a substance abuse program down in Texas. These are things we will fully, once we have a conversation, vet, and find people who are willing to accept these opportunities, we fully fund it. We will fully support through the end. And then the goal is like, let's get back to work now. Let's go back to school now, and then really get them on a path. But I say all that, we're fully doing that. We've gotten involved in the hyperbaric oxygen therapy treatment, where it's just a lot of the TBIs are really benefiting from hyperbaric therapy. The successes out of that are just, it's just incredible to see individuals who come in with just severe brain issues and walk out after 30 days, just like a changed person. So, and Dan Nelson is one of those guys who went through HBOT, severe TBI from a blast, and just now is doing incredible. So,
in addition to Dan, I know another individual that's gone through your program with that hyperbaric chamber, and it is incredible. It can be very expensive, and it's in some fields they think it's experimental, but it's been incredible, and it's great that you guys are able to offer that to people that might qualify.
Yep. So that's in the background. I'll hand off now. A couple of things to maybe check out, and then how, if you have somebody or you have any questions for us, I'll kind of give you how to do that. But Dan and I do a podcast once a month with just an incredible member who just inspires us when we talk to him. Our last guest was a husband and wife, and really kind of having the military spouse conversation. She was prior military too, and just hearing like what the challenges are as a military spouse who is prior military and then coming to Idaho. And so we have a podcast, and it's just on our website if you look at the top. So you can check that out. But those have been really good stories. We also have a leaders fellowship, which is kind of like I would say our highest level, highest performing program, where we select 20 people a year, and they go through a year-long leaders fellowship, where it's a once a month program. Our goal is to create a network of just the highest performing veteran and military spouse leaders, to really give them the opportunity, give them the network to just have influence and have the ability to have a huge impact on our state. So our expectations of people who are applying is they're going to be a leader, number one, in their family, number two, in their business or whatever organization they're a part of. And then number three, amongst this group, to help other veterans and help the Mission 43 community really succeed after the military. So We always say it's like, hey, military service, great, but what are you doing next? Like, don't let the military be the last great thing you did in life. So that's really kind of the leadership program, just brings all that together, and we find the 20 best, most incredible people to be a part of that. That application for our third cohort will kick off in January, and we'll let people know in April. So again, another fully funded. We invest a lot into the leaders who take part in that. So
before we move on to Allison, I just want to kind of reiterate, cover this a little bit, but who can join Mission 43?
Great. Yep. So our core audience is veterans and military spouses. So, when we're marketing, when we're focusing the efforts, it's anybody who's served in the military and a military spouse. And then we are absolutely open to civilian supporters who join, and any sort of our networking events or anything like that. We're always connecting them, or if they have employment opportunities. Civilians are absolutely involved. We do have like a pretty great group who are always at events. So like our fitness challenges, like our civilian audience can fully take part in that. They just don't get access to the employment, our Operation Resilient Path, or education services. So, yeah.
Well, and that is one of the things I think is great about Mission 43 is it is open to everyone, and you are very, very fortunate that you're funded by the Albertsons Foundation, because there aren't any membership dues. And, a lot of times that can be a barrier for somebody getting involved with any organization is, I got to pay something. What am I going to get out of it? This really gets people in the door. And I also encourage, civilians to join, because they may be business owners that can offer employment opportunities. And I heard Dan Nelson one time when he was talking about Mission 43 saying that, such a small percentage of today's population is actually served in the military, and our populace does not know what military people have gone through, or know that their neighbor has been in the military and things like that. And Mission 43 has been a really good way to connect the population with military members and veterans and things. And you guys are just doing a great job over there with that.
Thank you. So before I hand it off, like specifically, if you have somebody who is interested, you tell them about it. The website is our main funnel where you would connect. So you can ask a question to one of the teammates on there, or you can, like, if someone is looking for employment services, they would select join, select employment, and we will be off and running. But in terms of how to hand someone off, the website is the easiest and the fastest. And then hopefully through this and just connecting directly, feel free to connect directly to any of us on the team to ask questions. So I'll pass off to Allison Garrow, who is awesome. She has been a part of this from almost day one, coming on board, running education. And I think Allison is one of the smartest in terms of education benefits, and then also probably the sweetest in talking to people. I don't know. I don't have that gene in my body, but Allison does, and she does an incredible job talking to all of the veteran spouses. So I'm going to mute and pass it off to Allison.
Well, thank you so much for those kind words, Brian. And Mitzi, thank you for having us here. This is really awesome to be able to chat with you guys and to spread the word about Mission 43. I know I really love doing that. I'm Allison. I am a prior Air Force service member. My husband is currently serving out at Mountain Home, so military spouse thing right now. I lead up the education pillar. Like Brian said, I've been here pretty much since day one. This year, we've changed the education structure, and we're really tailoring it to what our members need. So, education is a very tough topic for a lot of people, but especially veterans. I think, when you leave service or when you're preparing to leave service, all of a sudden you're hit with education and what are you going to do? And it's not something that a lot of people prepare for while they're in service. So we're hoping to at least bring awareness to preparing yourself to leave while you're in service and paying attention to your education and what it might mean to you. So while you're currently serving, if you're looking to go back to school or have gotten out and you're needing to bridge a gap, I think I hear all the time from service members, I got a degree, but I just went back to school because someone told me I needed to get a degree and that's all that mattered. And then their focus area changes. And, really for employment, you might find that, oh man, I got this degree and now it's not really beneficial to me. So it's kind of finding that niche and an advising piece that goes along with that, finding that niche of what are you doing? What are your plans for after the military? What are your plans for during the military? Are you going to marry those two? Do you know right now? And what does that look like? Here's some options. Do you have local options? Do you need to go to school online? Is there a program nationally that can help you? And really figuring out how to tailor your education to end up with quality employment. So if that means a degree program, great. If that means a technical program, great. If that means a additional certification, some professional development. We just want to be able to cover the gamut of this is the process, this is how you think about it, this is where to start, and these are the steps to take to get there. And it's not something that, I've said before that people, when you're going to high school, if you can remember all 4 years of high school, you were prepared constantly. Think about college, think about college, think about after high school, think about after high school, think about your education going forward and as it leads to employment. Well, some people joined the military to get out of that because they didn't want to think about it or they had other reasons, right? And wanted to serve. But when you're in the military, that stops. That preparation stops. And the next preparation you get is when you're in that transition assistance program leaving the military. So again, we're here to help advise military members, veterans on bridging that gap and making education important. We offer, in addition to advising, we have a great partnership with Boise State University. We have a free entrepreneurship course, which applications are open right now. So if you know of anyone that is thinking about starting their own business, is thinking about a nonprofit that we need in our community, is thinking about, hey, I have my business, but I need to grow it and I need to grow my network and I need to see what that looks like. And I don't have the tools to do that. We help. We can step in. We can provide those resources in a 6-week course. It's a couple nights a week. If you're in the Treasure Valley, we can do it in person. If you're outside of the Treasure Valley, there's going to be virtual options. So we want to make sure that you have those tools, have those resources, again, to succeed in life during and after the military. This is open to veteran service members as well as military spouses. We've also got a new focus very specifically for Air Force, which might translate into other branches soon. But right now, Air Force members get military training all the way up through the end of time, right? And so by the time you're a senior airman in the Air Force, you usually have enough general education credits and military credits to meet a general bucket for an associate of applied science. And they work with the Community College of the Air Force to provide those. That's what their transcripts are. But the Air Force doesn't provide general education that you need for a degree. So they've gone through, worked with universities to provide what's called the GEM model, and it's General Education Mobile. And that is really great because veteran service members that are in right now and wanting to get their CCF, complete their Associate of Applied Science, they need 5 classes, like 15 credits to complete their associate degree. And this can be done through a series of CLEP tests, or it can be done by attending classes because, not everybody can test out of a certain class. So we're lucky. Boise State University is one of very few universities nationwide that actually offers this, and they're right in our backyard. So not only can you do this online, but you've got the university right here to support you. You've got a team to support you. They have further worked with us to reduce their price per credit hour to $250, which for those in the know, military tuition assistance is up to $250 per credit hour, and depending on branch, up to $4,500 a year, which will cover at least 5 classes. It actually covers 7 to 8. So we do that. We have a team at BSU that is very connected with us. So from start to finish, here's upfront the process, here's what needs to happen. And we're really holding their hands through this process. And from there, if an Air Force member decides to get their bachelor's degree, you can get your bachelor's degree in about 60 credits with an AU to ABC cooperative that is also available at Boise State University, which is not available at every university. Most of the time, you can't just walk in and get credit completely transferred over from an Associate of Applied Science degree. Boise State does that for certain degree programs. So again, that's 60 credits a year and a half. So really, you know, all that to say is we're tailoring our education to our membership. We're tailoring our partnerships to what they need. We're here to provide information, to provide advising, to get you started in the process, but also make sure that you're successful in the process. We don't want to send someone to school. We don't want to send someone through a program and not have them succeed. We want to be there with them throughout the whole thing. And I think there's going to be more to come this year.
That's great. Does anybody have any specific questions for Allison while we've got her here? Now, you're based out of Boise, but Mission 43 is statewide. Do you have anybody in other parts of the state that will meet with people one-on-one, or are you doing all that virtually? Allison.
For the most part, we can meet virtually. I mean, I think that's the way of the world right now. And this is how it's been even prior to that. I can meet you via Zoom, I can meet you via phone, or if you're local, we can go and we can sit and have a conversation outside of COVID restrictions whenever that's a thing. So, but if there is someone that needs to meet in person that absolutely cannot get something done, then I mean, I think there's ways around that. But generally speaking, everything that we have, everything that we do can be done virtually, can be done over the phone. It's a matter of sitting down, having a conversation with someone and figuring out really what their goals are and how to meet those goals.
That's great. Now, I know through my office, I get a lot of questions about education. We've got a education bureau that does a great job with those, but you know, we do refer some people over to you. One question that comes up a lot is passing on your GI Bill to your children. Do you help dependents with education benefits?
Yes, absolutely. And I apologize for not mentioning that. Everything that I do service-wise on the education front, we offer to dependents, dependent spouses, and I've even worked with dependent children, depending on what benefits they have and what they're using and how they're planning on going back to school. There are so many benefits out there that I think people don't even know what they can qualify for. And so sometimes even having that conversation helps. And then what are those steps to take? And how do you make sure that you're up to date in the process? So dependents, veterans, military members, I'm here for you.
Okay, great. And do you work with Voc Rehab? Because they have a lot of education benefits for veterans and things. Do you work with them hand in hand, or is that kind of separate?
I think I would say that it's separate. However, there have been a lot of referrals towards Voc Rehab. Again, that's one of those education benefits that is not so much education, it's more focused on employment, but education is a piece of that. And
right.
So it's a little bit obscure. And I don't hear of many people that come through our channels that understand that they are eligible. And not only could they be eligible, they could get entitled. And even if you've used all of your post 9/11 benefits, even if you've used Montgomery, even if you've used benefits previously, there's still a chance that you might have that option. And so it's getting them to understand this is what it looks like, this is how it works, this is the process you need to go about to make it happen. Here are the people you need to talk to, but let's get you an education plan and goal set ahead of time so that way you can come in prepared and you can know what your options are.
Okay. That's great. Well, thank you, Allison. Okay, we're going to move on to Micah Taylor. She is the employment pillar of Mission 43, and she's with Hire Heroes USA. And Mike, if you can tell us about yourself, and then also the relationship, how Higher Heroes works into Mission 43.
Yeah, absolutely. First, thank you so much for having us here. We are excited to be here. This is awesome. So my name is Micah Taylor. I'm actually currently in the Air National Guard. I hit my 20 years in March 10th on my birthday, so I'm really excited. 3 more drills to go. I currently work in the Education and Training Office, so I help do military testing and so forth. I'm also a military spouse. My husband is a chief over at Mountain Home. He is doing awesome. You'll know him by his Tom Selleck mustache if you ever see him. Also, I come from a military family. My mother, father are both retired. My sister is currently in the Montana Air National Guard. So a lot of military background, especially from the veteran and from the military spouse side, to understand that perspective. So the employment pillar is actually part of Mission 43. And so with that, we actually partner with Higher Heroes USA. So I work for Higher Heroes USA with Mission 43, and we help military veterans and spouses with employment, entering in that civilian employment space. And civilian employment could also include the federal sector as well. Our mission is twofold. Besides helping veterans find employment, we also work with employers to understand what it means to hire veterans, to find them the right candidates, whether they're veterans or military spouses, which is awesome. We love what we do. What's amazing actually is the care that a client is going to get when they sign up with Mission 43. They'll be directed to the employment pillar. They'll receive an email, and then we're going to ask a ton of questions. We're going to ask a veteran and a spouse all about basically, what do you want to be when you grow up? What does that civilian side look like? What does your education look like? What is your experience? Can we see your EPRs or OPRs or so forth? We take all of that and we actually assign everyone to a transition specialist within the state of Idaho. And that's what's so great about the Mission 43 program, is that we understand Idaho because we're here. Whether it's Northern Idaho or here in the Treasure Valley, we're here to help people understand the state and civilian employment. We're going to provide people with a resume. That is what we're known for, is a free resume based on skills that they've had during the military and skills they've gained in the civilian workforce. Sometimes people actually don't reach us until 3 or 4 or maybe 5 years after they've left the military. We're still here to help, which is awesome. Beyond that, we actually have amazing volunteer services as well. Whether you need career counseling or you find that, you know what, I want to talk to someone who's actually a systems network engineer. I want to know what that looks like. Or I want to talk to someone who works at Amazon. We have a great relationship with Amazon. And so we're able to connect them with those volunteers to say, hey, this is what it's really like being employed here. It's awesome. It's great. We're here to have those hard conversations. And the goal of the conversation is to talk about, where are you at? Sometimes a lot of people, when they come to us, they're like, you know, I don't know what I want to do. I know what I want to earn. I know that salary range, but I'm not really sure what skill sets I have now and how that's going to transfer over. And our goal is to walk them through it and say, you know what, you have great supervisory skills. Your education is awesome. Or if it's not, guess what? Let's hook you up with Allison. Let's move that forward. What area do you want to live in with Idaho? Some people want to go to very small areas. They want that small town feel. We're here to help them find employment, whether it's remote employment or to work within those organizations and employers around that area too. So we offer a wide variety of really custom services to know who people are. We also offer legal advice, which is great, which isn't very well known, especially when it comes to employment, whether it's contract negotiation and you need to talk to someone who says, you know what, I want to be able to find out what I can earn if I can get offered more. And we'll let people know too as well if that offer is too much and say, you know what, let's get you some better advice to talk about this with an expert. We had a really great conversation this week actually with a guy who was part of the DoD Skill Bridge. And he went ahead, he's working with an employer here within the state, and they changed the job on him. They're like, you know what, we want to do in sales, but guess what? Right now, we're actually going to put you to be a maintenance worker, which is not what he signed up for. He called us. He said the pay was actually going to be $20,000 less when he got out. He was very concerned. And within 24 hours, we actually got him legal advice. And we didn't want him to have a bad experience with HR managers, because HR managers are really the heart of the organization. So we went ahead and we got him volunteered to talk about how he talks with an HR manager and what's the goal of the conversation. It can be very intimidating when you're coming from a veteran space, you know, that military space, and then you're working over with a civilian space. Sometimes those conversations are harder. You know, military personnel, we know rules, we know regs, we know where to look it up, but it can be overwhelming if you're working with other organizations outside the military, and you're like, how do I start this conversation? So it was really great. He was very happy we were able to work with him. And turns out he's actually going to go back to active duty and then come back and retire here in Idaho, which is whatever is the best for that veteran. That's what we're here for. The reach of Mission 43 is just incredible. I have to say, I had a conversation. I actually picked up the number. It said, hey, private number. I'm like, oh, sounds like a telemarketer, but I picked it up anyways. And it was a guy from Okinawa, Japan. And he said, I heard about Mission 43 all the way in Japan. I'm moving to Idaho. I am super excited. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. And so we have this awesome conversation, and I said, all right, here's what you're going to do. Here's where you're going to sign up. We're going to go ahead and help you. Tell me about yourself. And so we actually got him hooked up with one of our transition specialists, Zach, up north, and he is super excited. He comes in June. We're ready. We're ready for him. And he heard about us all the way halfway across the world. So the impact of veteran talent and military spouse talent coming into the state of Idaho is real. It's amazing. And what amazing part of that too is the advocacy that we have from our clients as well. General Todd Plimpton, he actually went ahead and got hired onto the Department of, I have it written down. Yes, there we go. Department of Corrections in a high position. And he called us after he got hired. He said, you know what, Mike, I want to hire your veterans. He's like, I am ready when I get integrated. And I believe he started in October. So we should hear from him around January. See who you have. Let's see if we have direct hire positions. Let's see who can get hired. So the advocacy of veterans helping veterans and spouses helping spouses once they're hired really is an amazing network. You know, networking, it's the #1 way you're going to find a job. So whether you're in the engagement pillar and you're talking to civilian employers or other people who have positions, or whether you're on LinkedIn, we do LinkedIn training as well. LinkedIn is huge. Oh my gosh, it's so huge in the employment field. We want to make sure that veterans not only know how to look for jobs, but how to network and how to go ahead and go forth and really find themselves in the civilian world. A lot of it comes with counseling. You know, sometimes we have these hard conversations, whether they're aiming so high, but they don't have the education to work for it, or they're aiming way too low. We're like, you know what, you have all these skills. Let's aim higher. Let's have that worth. Auden, one of our transition specialists, actually she had amazing feedback. And it was a guy who just said, you know, thank you for believing me. It allows me to believe in myself. And those one-on-one conversations make a difference. We do call our clients once a month once they're on the job hunt. So they hear from us all the time. Once a month is the minimum. So we're definitely going to call them. We're going to say, okay, where are you at? What are you doing? We have realistic conversations on how long it takes to actually get a job and what it means to apply for them. And the networking, again, I'm always going to push networking. It's such a big deal. So other things that we have available really is the employers. So I get conversations like this all the time of who are you working with and where are you at? Really, employers reach out to us anymore because recruiters talk to recruiters. It was amazing. We had the the Bureau of Reclamation contact us, and they're like, hey, Micah, we have 8 positions. We want to do direct hire. Mitzi, I know you know this, you sent it as well. And Casey and I talked, and he was like, I want your veterans. I want to hire them. Here's what it's going to be. Here's the position. And we had really good realistic expectations on what they're looking for. We're not going to vet candidates that don't meet what he's needing, but we want to make sure, man, if we can get a direct hire and get people jobs, especially in 2020, let's do it. Amazon, again, we work local with the Amazon local people, and they're fabulous. Every Friday I get, hey, Micah, these are the jobs that are coming out. Ada County is wonderful. Up north is beautiful. Like, employers are here and they're ready to hire veterans. It's just, what does that mean? A lot of times we do have to stomp down kind of stereotypes that happen when employers believe that they're hiring veterans, especially with military spouses. I did talk to an employer and I said, have you ever thought about having a military spouse employed here? And he goes, why would I do that? They're going to move. And this was a former Marine. And so our conversation was really positive. And I said, well, what is your hire rate? Like, how long do people stay? And he says, oh, about 1 to 2 years. And I said, all right, there you go. So really, that being a military spouse shouldn't be a factor to that. So you need to take that bias out. Like, who are you hiring? You know, military spouses are amazing. They're hardworking. They're super educated. And the goal is to get them employment too. Their unemployment rate right now is about 24%. It's just super high. So we need advocacy in those fields for people to understand you can hire veterans, you can hire military spouses, and they are going to have the skills that you need. They're going to have that. They're going to work hard. Military employment, civilian employment is definitely, they're underemployed, but they go ahead and are promote super quickly throughout organizations. So we advocate really hard with our employers too. So those direct relationships are important that we have. If anybody wonders about how they get started, really you just go to mission43.org and sign up for services, click employment, and you'll get an email from me. And we'll just kind of go from there, which is great. So does anyone have any questions?
You know, I get a lot of phone calls, people looking for employment, wondering where the best places are. And my first answer is join Mission 43 and click on the Hire Heroes tab, because you guys really have all the bases covered in Idaho, and you're really there to advocate for our veterans and our spouses. So, Tina, did you have a question?
Yeah, Micah, do you have any companies that you're working with that are service dog friendly? Because that's a big one that I do.
Yes. Actually, Amazon is service dog friendly. So Amazon is great. We get a lot of webinar training with them. Another thing that I forgot to mention is if on the Hire Heroes website, you'll actually see all the webinars that we have. And so Amazon actually talks about that, and they'll say, okay, if you are a veteran with a disability, if you need a service dog, please let us know your limitations, right? Those barriers to employment, and they will work around you. So
Okay.
that makes a big difference. So whether it's in the organization or if it's at home, they have thousands of positions. And so they fight hard for military veterans to be employed. What I would recommend to, and what we counsel as well, is be realistic about what those jobs are. It may not be this high level position based on the fact that that is a barrier to employment, but it will be something else as well. So yeah, Amazon 100%. So we're actually in February, we're going to go ahead and have our really first virtual meeting. We're going to work with HR managers within the state to talk about those hard conversations of what if you do have a disability, what if you do need a service dog, and so forth. So we're going to get answers from civilian employers on what their view and their take is and how they can move forward with that. So, but yeah, Amazon is it.
Well, that's been a big thing with Guardian Paws, is finding employers that if they see a vet with a service dog, it automatically is a count against them.
Yep.
Most of my vets already have their unemployability, or they're struggling because they have to have their dog. And there's a stigma that says if you have to have a service dog, you are a danger, you're a liability, rather than seeing it as such a positive that this vet has gone through and is getting that mental health help, is having all of those skills that from being a veteran, and then having their dog there to just kind of help get them through it.
100%.
If there's any times that we can, I mean, you got employers, I would love to reach out and talk with them and educate about the benefits of having a vet that has a service dog.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that's definitely, it's wonderful to have that advocacy from both sides. I think social media has a lot to do with it too. Like you see, if they're not part of that military community, you're like, oh, veteran. And then it can go one way or the other, or military spouse, it goes one way or the other.
Right.
If your veterans are actually having a hard time, I would definitely recommend, one, reach out to us, let us help.
Okay.
But two, also really remote positions. So if we see the future of work right now, I guarantee you most companies are going to have at least 25 to 50% people that are going to be remote. Positions that can go remote, they're going remote. And highlighting those skills that you have when it means being a remote person is going to be seen totally different on your resume than it's going to be as an in-person. Basically, you're highlighting like you're able to work independently, but you can still work with the team. You know, that's a big one. You have the right skill sets, you have good internet,
Right.
Those basic skills. But if they're having a difficult job, I would definitely recommend them to look for remote employment. You know, LinkedIn is going to be an amazing place. Wells Fargo is a huge advocate of ours as well. They're signed up. We have an amazing job board. The Albertsons Foundation funds this job board. So any employer is able to go ahead and post their jobs on the job board for free within the state of Idaho. Even if the companies are nationwide, if it's within the state of Idaho, you can definitely have that job posted. And what we do when people apply for those jobs is our clients let us know right away. They're like, hey, Mike, I applied for this job. Wonderful. And then we actually contact the employer, whoever posted this, and we say, hey, guess what? You need to go ahead and be on the lookout for this resume. They're a veteran or a military spouse coming through. We only let them know as much as our client wants us to let them know.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
if they're like, don't mention it right away, that's totally fine. When it comes to advising our clients and like, do you mention right away that you have a service dog, or is the service dog not with them? They need the employment. You know, is it in the first conversation or the second conversation? And it really is situational. It just depends. Same with the disabilities and so forth, like, or even if you have a track record, right? Let's say we are able to identify if you've gone to jail or if you have, you know, any sort of thing like that. We've helped people with that before because veterans come from all walks of life.
Yep.
We want to make sure that they're moving forward positively. So that's why you have those transition specialists, that individual conversation. And my team, if they don't know the answers, they go right to me and then we go right to the sources, or we find those volunteers who are experts in that. We get them help right away. So yeah, we're here to help with that. Those conversations are good.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I want to expand on a couple areas. You mentioned you help with resumes, and a lot of people will say, oh, you know, I was paid to get my resume professionally done, or before I got out of the military, I worked on that and have it. But in conversations with you, one of the main things that comes up is a lot of veterans don't know how to word their resume to show a civilian employer what their skills really are. And can you expand on that a little bit?
Absolutely. So this is especially important if you're just transitioning out, right? You have your EPRs, your performance reviews. We take all of those and we tailor your resume as much as we can to the job that you're looking for. But we go ahead and we have expectations as well. First, you qualify for that job. We have a client who is famous in the team when I first got here in 2018, and he actually wanted to be a nurse. He wanted to apply for a nurse, never gone to nursing school. So we had to have that conversation of like, I don't think we're going to be able to write this. For the most part, we go ahead and we take all those skills and say, do you want to be a project manager? In what? What would you like to do? Do you have the IT skills? What do you want to do within that civilian workforce? And we take all of those terms, all of the resources that you've used and the numbers that you have and how much money you've used, and we want to go ahead and put that in civilian terms. So what can happen is a veteran will say, well, technically I didn't do this. Well, technically, yes, you did. It's just terminology. So we're switching around these terminologies. They mean the same thing. Just one thing is different in the military world compared to the civilian world. Our goal is to translate those skills. When the resume is complete, we then teach you how to tailor it. Okay, there's a lot of places that you can go to in order to scan that resume and to meet that job description. Our goal is to train you on that, because if you're not tailoring your resume, you're not going to get through the automatic tracking system. You have to tailor your resume. And so we really push that very hard. We have clients who will email us and say, hey, I think I want to apply for this job. Awesome. Let me take a look at your resume. Let me do this. Let me train you how to do that, you know, how to tailor it. Our goal is to empower people. We're not a job placement program. We're pretty close. You know, we really want to go ahead and connect people as much as we can, but we're not going to put you in a job. The goal is to empower people to know how to get to a job, especially military spouses. They move from base to base to base. They need to know how to work the system and how to be strategic in their job search. If you're not getting a job, it's your resume, 100%. Now, if you're getting the interview and then you're not getting the job, then guess what? It's your interview skills. And so that's why we work with volunteers within that specific industry, and we'll put out a request and they'll run people through mock interviews. That first interview as a veteran is actually really hard. More than likely, they're talking in acronyms. I know I did that as well. You know, and the goal is to say, okay, what do you know about this organization? Here are common questions that'll happen. Here's more specific details. So it's really a step process to identify what's not working, and then to identify, okay, how do we move forward from here to get you the position there?
Well, and I know I referred somebody over to you guys for that exact thing. They said, you know, I'm getting lots of interviews and I know it's just a competitive market out there. And you had told me that. You said if they're getting interviews but they're not getting the job, then, you know, there's a problem. And so just that aspect of it too. So many people think, okay, hire heroes, I need to be looking for a job. I need to have my resume and things. But even if they have portions of that job search already underway or taken care of, you guys can fill in the the little pieces to help them be successful.
Oh, absolutely. And I think too, we don't know everything, right? We don't know everything with it, but we have the resources to find people to help you fill in the rest of the gaps. That's what's amazing about it too, whether it's a webinar or talking to specific employers, finding the ins and out, really networking, whatever it is, we have the resources for employment to help move you forward. So don't be afraid to ask us difficult questions. We're here to help, or we can find you that person.
Great. Now, she's mentioned it several times, but I just want to reiterate it, is the help with employment for spouses. Because so many organizations, veterans organizations, they may have an auxiliary that spouses can participate in, but you offer everything to a military spouse that you're offering to the veteran. And that is so, so important, because so many military spouses feel undervalued when they have been the backbone of their veteran or their military member throughout their career.
Oh yeah, we love working with military spouses. We do, because we've been there, we understand what it means. I mean, I've been at 3 Guard bases, we've moved 5 times. My husband, we've been married 10 years. Don't tell him that. I couldn't remember that. We've been married 10 years, and he's been on 5 years of deployments, so throughout there's a lot of, gaps in employment, and there was education, and there was just sporadic things. Our goal is to put it together in a resume to move forward, and then to really advocate with employers and say, hey, guess what? This is an awesome candidate. You need to go ahead and really take a look at this resume. I am a firm believer in employee fit. If the person isn't the right fit, then they're going to really not like it there, whether it's from the employer or from the candidate. But don't dismiss someone just because you're afraid they're going to move. I would rather have an employee work hard for 3 to 4 years and then know that I got an amazing employee than someone who's going to stay 20 years and not really do as much. So we advocate hard for those. And also on Facebook, we have a separate military spouse group, and they talk so much. There's over 1,000 military spouses in there, and they talk about, hey, I'm at this base, I found this employer, or guess what, for this webinar, all of that good stuff. So it's really awesome to advocate for spouses right there. Chad, I saw that. Yes, but we love our spouses, absolutely.
That's great. And then the other thing that you mentioned, but I think it's important to just hit on it one more time, is your job board, because that is a very unique thing to any organization, and the fact that you want employers to contact you to get their jobs on that job board so that our Idaho veterans know what's out there.
Oh yeah, the job board is awesome. It really, the more people know about it, the more employers know about it. And hey, it's great for the employer. You want to hire veterans and military spouses. You also need to budget when you go ahead and you post those jobs. Well, guess what? Post them here. We put those jobs out there. We talk about the job board all the time. We talk to our clients about the job board, and they upload their resume. So when you, as an employer, when you have access to that job board, you have access to all of our clients in the system who will go ahead and sign up, who say, hey, guess what? I'm out there. This is what I want to do. Here's my resume. And you have free range to contact them. Most of the time, the employers contact me and say, tell me about this veteran. What do you know about this person? And so we have great conversations with them and say, yes, they're an awesome candidate. Here's their skills. Feel free to contact them. I know they're currently looking for employment. Sometimes when they contact us, hey, I know this person sounds great, but guess what? They're not transitioning out for 2 years. And so I definitely contact that client. I say, hey, this employer wants to contact you. Oh, I'm just not ready yet. Or yeah, absolutely. Let me start that conversation. So yes, that job board is awesome.
That's great. And then one last thing, and this may have been a unique situation, but you may be able to expand upon it. I had one email that I sent out to Joining Forces, and I had a gentleman, he had a job pending, but he didn't have the $500 to take the certification class that the employer was requiring. And so I put an email out, hoping that some organizations would help him. And Micah contacted me immediately and said, let me contact him. I think we can help. Is that something else that you guys have available, or was that a unique situation?
It really just depends. So we have a source of funds called the CRF fund, right? Career Readiness Fund. Hire Heroes is a nonprofit, so we go ahead and we have large funders throughout the United States. But this guy actually just donated his own money and said, "I really want to help veterans fill those gaps where they need to," which is amazing. So if we have unique criteria, it's very, very, very specific according to that grant. But he actually fit all of that. He currently had a job. He just needed to get the training. We really want to help our Idaho veterans with that. And then he met all of the skills necessary and so forth. There's a lot of follow-on that happens when those funds are released. But yes, it was great. Unfortunately, he wound up in an accident, and so we have to hold off on that funding. But it's there and ready for him when he is ready to move forward. So we've helped men at Men's Warehouse go ahead and get suits when they go in for job interviews. It can be very intimidating, and it's a common question: what do I wear for an interview? So we help out and counsel with that. And if we're able to access those funds, we go ahead and get them a suit. We have a great relationship with Men's Warehouse. They advocate for veterans very hard. They've been super sweet and awesome. To include, sometimes it's computers, or sometimes, guess what, you need childcare that day to watch your child in order to go to a job interview. It can be that desperate. We've helped people, and I know this is back east, but a lady went ahead and she was like, "Hey, I need to move from my job. I can't get out of my rent," right? Her lease agreement. And so we went ahead, we had our lawyers advocate for her on that behalf, and we were able to pay that part of the funds in order to get her there for her employment. So already having a current job available that's ready to go is really the key point on that. It can't just be, well, I need a computer. It's way more involved than that. But yes, if they have something already lined up and they can prove it, there's just a gap, we would definitely love to help. But again, it's situational on it. So it's not always a guarantee.
Sounds good. Well, that's just another plug for joining forces. If you have something out there that you're like, "Oh, I don't know if anybody can help," let me know. We'll put it out there. And it's amazing that there always seems to be somebody to help with some area of it. So, okay. Well, thank you very much, Micah. Chad, Roar, let's let you say hello and fill in any of the gaps that nobody else has mentioned this morning. You're on mute.
There, how's that? Is that
You're very
better?
good.
Okay, I thought I unclicked it. So Chad Rohr here. Mission 43 engagement pillar is my main purpose in life. And I was in the Navy for 21 years, retired out of there as a chief, and I've been here in the Boise area for quite a bit of time. What I do is try to kind of bridge that gap between, when people are looking for that employment or that education, and basically assist in all that network. So however that might be is, keeping people healthy and well, and at the same time, engaging in that networking and things like that. So that's my big deal. And I love doing all kinds of little things. So Brian mentioned a few things like the hiking series where we hit the Boise Grand Slam. That's several hills here in the area, preparing people to hit Bora, for instance. So last year we went up Bora, and that was an amazing event for a whole bunch of people. So, we're going to continue on and do that. We're going to continue that into the winter as much as we can with the COVID restrictions, but we're looking into like snowshoeing and cross-country skiing. So we'll hit Bogus Basin, or we'll go up into the yurts outside of, not the yurts, but the yurt system outside of Idaho City. So that'll be another exciting thing. Just, getting out and having a great time with those around us. So, finding your tribe, finding out about all those little kind of quirky, amazing things about Idaho. I know that we kind of focus here in the Boise area, but we also try to bridge that across over to the eastern side and also up to the north as far as we can with all of that. And that's where kind of with all of our events that we have going on with Mission 43 Miles, as Mitzi kind of introduced that, is, it's such a great opportunity to share an event virtually in this amazing opportunity that we have. And just kind of keep everyone active. So, you know, I've been running with somebody from Columbus, Missouri, all the way to watching people over in Iraq do their 43 miles in one single night, like right off the bat when the challenge was launched. So we have a Strava group that we kind of see a lot of that communication going also. So that's Mission 43 on Strava. And other events, we did a biking event this summer also. So you know, there's just all kinds of amazing things going out. And look out for maybe some climbing or some CrossFit kind of stuff or rowing events. But the biggest thing is, you know, getting engaged and seeing these events. And the best way to do that is on Mission 43 on the website under events. Just keep an eye out for that, and looking forward to connecting with everyone there, and also through the Strava app, because I think right there we have I think 700 people in the group there, and I know another amazing event is right around 9/11. That's kind of a significant day for many of us now, but the Miles of Remembrance has been going for several years, and this year we did have to do it virtually, but we had 1,200 people that participated in that, and that was just another amazing opportunity to just remember why everything's happening around here, and also how we can support each other and lift each other up. So I think that's about it. I don't know. There's a few things. I don't know. I just kind of feel, you know, like there's all kinds of great things. You know, if you want a running partner, reach out to me. I'll run. I'll walk. You know, and that's another thing is with all of our events, it's family friendly. You know, do what you want to do. You don't have to be out there doing marathons every day. But if you do want to do that, you know, we're here to help you out and do that. But yeah, it's great when we see all these amazing pictures on Facebook and Instagram, and everyone's kind of bouncing off each other and supporting each other. So,
Well, and
but yeah.
I do want to mention I am a huge proponent, cheerleader for Mission 43. I just think that all of their pillars are amazing. They have amazing people. I want to just for a moment look on the other side of it. I know when you got Mission 43 was first getting started, a lot of people kind of referred to you as the Cool Kids Club, which you guys are very cool. But as people have gotten to know you, as I've helped get the word out, it really is all inclusive across all different types of people. And just kind of going along with what Chad was saying, you know, they have a lot of running events and things like that. I am not a runner, but a lot of times I will show up, and if there isn't somebody else that is going to walk, somebody like Chad or just another participant will walk with me. And so it's truly all inclusive. And the other thing that, you know, I mentioned when you guys were first getting started, and Brian mentioned, you know, you have the happy hours and getting together. And one of my big concerns was a lot of our military veterans are struggling with alcohol, and that can be a barrier, or it should be a barrier for them to participate in that, because they should realize that that's not a healthy environment. And in speaking with you, you guys took that to heart and started your coffee hours and expanded upon your other events. And so I've really appreciated that. And again, that's one of the reasons that I am such a big proponent, because you did go from the beginning to what seemed like a very exclusive club, and you know, focused around certain areas, and you've taken criticism to heart and expanded on those to really be all inclusive. And from the veterans that I deal with, I think that that's truly appreciated. So Brian Madden, are you still with us? Do you want to say anything to wrap up this Mission 43 presentation?
Just thanks a lot. If there's any way we can help you all better with this information, if you have any advice for us, we are always trying to improve, like you just said. So please hit us up and tell us what we can do better. And let us know how we can help you also. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, that's great. We've got about 10 minutes left. I'm going to pick a few people that I see are online here. Mindy Anderson with the Veterans Chamber of Commerce. You have some upcoming meetings, virtual meetings. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we have, so we're launching our working groups for our 5 core services that we'll be providing support for in collaboration. I love all of what Mission 43 is doing, and we're hoping to drive more business and veterans and people towards the amazing resources that they have that can help people be successful. So really excited to just learn more about Mission 43 and all of what they offer, because even I didn't realize how much they truly do support the veteran and the spouse community. So appreciate everything you guys are doing. And our core services teams are going to be standing up for the next 3 months and just kind of finding our place and figuring out where we can best serve the community. And then in March, we will be opening it up to the general population for our monthly meetings. We have a lot of great conversations happening with councils across the state, with the SBA, with I just got an email yesterday from Senator Crapo's office, and we'll be meeting with them. So we've got a lot of synergy happening behind the Veterans Chamber of Commerce. And as I was reviewing the assessment that we launched out, we had 76 people take that and just tell us, what did you feel the gap was? And it's just overwhelming response of the most common word used was collaboration and resources is much needed. So I think we're on the right path, and I'm really excited for our core services to start doing the work of creating what will look like and how we can help. Thank you, Mitzi, for the opportunity.
You're welcome. And just to recap a few Joining Forces things, it's been a really fun and exciting week to work with everybody out there. We had family programs from Mountain Home Air Force Base contact me. Valerie Rourke over there, she had contacted me directly first and explained the situation that she had, that I eventually sent out on an email, and she wasn't sure if that was something that we could help with. And my answer to most of you is always like, I don't know, but let's see. And we send the email out, and within 10 minutes of that email going out, that well drilling and pump was half funded by an anonymous donor, and then the rest of you chipped in here and there. Military Order of the Purple Heart, both their local chapter and their state chapter, put in a total of $1,000. And that was just one of those really exciting things to see come together. And we've had some others this week. We had one of our law enforcement agencies actually go out on a call in the middle of the night, and they ended up handing out my card to the parents of a veteran that was really struggling, and they contacted me, and I was able to get the family in contact with one of our local peer-to-peer groups, Idaho Veterans Network, and they found the veteran that was struggling was in Boise. They found a veteran in Nampa that had been in the same unit and done the same job and been deployed to Afghanistan, different times, different years, but their situations were exactly the same. And this one veteran had struggled tremendously, had gotten over that hump, and now he is so excited to be able to mentor this other veteran. And then that veteran was very excited that, he's got somebody that understands his situation exactly. And that all came together through joining forces, our relationships with law enforcement, and just you guys out there. So all of you play a part. And like I say, together we are making a difference, because it's just all those little parts and pieces. So it's been a very exciting week. Those are just 2 stories out of a bunch of successes that we've had. And I just want to thank everybody for the part that you play, for attending the meeting, learning about the information that's out there. If anybody has any suggestions for future meetings, information that you would like to learn more about, your organization getting more information out there, let me know. I can't always work everybody in, or virtually sometimes your organization isn't a good fit for our current format, but hopefully by May or June we'll be back to meeting in person at the Boise Police Department, and you know, I hope to get everybody in. So let me know your ideas, and I will get all the contact information out for Mission 43, so everybody has that. And I encourage everyone to go online, mission43.org, sign up. Everyone is welcome to be a member, and we will see everybody next month.
Take care, Mitzi.